Welcome to Cosmic Comics, Games and Collectibles, your zen of geekism. We carry comics old and new, magazines, toys, games like Pokemon, Magic, D&D. Want Godzilla, Ultraman, Star Trek, Ninja Turtles, Funko Pops? You'll find it all here. Shop our Cosmic Sound Room and pick up a record or two. Enjoy our Comic Coffee Lounge with a cup of Sasquatch coffee or a delicious menu item while geeking out over a super cool movie on our big screen. Come by and say hello to Maui. Cosmic Comic, Games and Collectibles. Superman loves us, and so will you.
And good evening, everybody. I am RJ Carter, Senior Managing Editor here at CriticalBlad.com. And tonight is, we say open mic. It's not open. It's not. If you want in, you knock, and we'll open the door. So it's an openish mic. It's an open topic mic night. We just going to talk about pretty much anything. We will be cutting it off at the top of the hour because right after this, we will be moving over to Crom on the Madness Comics Network and closing out the January. Is it January still? Yeah, okay. The January 2022 Crom edition. So without any further ado, let's bring on our panelists, Mr. Mike Walters and Mr. Chris Tomulovich. Gentlemen, how are you?
Good evening. Doing well.
I'm doing all right. So RJ, by that statement, of course, you might need to give us the link. But did you want us to join you over on the CromCon or something like that? Because I know you.
Oh no, you don't have to do that. I said we, didn't I? I was the royal we. Hit pops up for links if you want to pop in. He'll allow anybody in. I'm pretty sure.
Well, because I know you were saying you were having trouble getting guests and stuff for that. So
yeah, we got some folks lined up coming over there.
Yeah, if nothing else, it's a good view. Go over and watch it.
Yeah. I might as I finish up dinner here when I get around to it. But I spent a good part. I actually had my computer off for a good part of the day, for a good part of the afternoon. I was outside my house here, just kind of running my own little fantasy wrestling promotion in my head. I call it the Podcasters Wrestling Federation, but it's not what it's not. It doesn't actually have anything involved with us as much. There's this guy named Conrad Thompson who hosts a series of podcasts. You guys might have seen him around a bit. He'll pair up with different stars like Something to Wrestle with Bruce Pritchard, What Happened When with Tony Schiavone, The Arn Show with Arn Anderson, and Grilling JR with Jim Ross. So what I would do is I initially, to get the promotion started, I picked a singles wrestler, tag team wrestler from each of those four, and then I had them run in a tournament to establish the world heavyweight title, the world heavyweight title, and world tag team title. And then ever since, through their syndicated programming, I'd be booking shows based on their programs.
So you do it like fantasy football. You're just taking what's going on in their world and applying it to a fantasy lineup?
I wouldn't say that. No, I wouldn't exactly say it's exactly like fantasy football. It's a little different. In other words, what they do is they do like profile pieces, for example, the first set of programs, their issues number one, right? There's Something to Wrestle with number one, or STW number one as it's known, featured Dusty Rhodes. So he, along with Rick, I pair him off rivals depending upon how I set it up. And then you had the Goldberg issue for What Happened When number one. So of course I used that to introduce Goldberg and Steve McMichael, and then you had basically I would use those to I'd use whatever they're talking about. And then I'd add wrestlers as they would introduce wrestlers in their features.
Gotcha.
So that's how I would do it. I'm actually booking it myself with those characters, and I'd add characters so I'm I'm up to episode number 14 on each in my head here. I've had like 3 pay-per-views, planning a 4th. So the first pay-per-view was Christmas Clash, which was basically the show to establish the promotion. Where, as I said, I picked a singles wrestler from each podcaster, a tag team, and a referee from each, and then I only picked 2 two ring announcers, Howard Finkel and Dave Penzer, WWF, represent, and then depending upon, basically Flair is still my first PWF World Heavyweight Champion, and the Miracle Violence Connection, Terry Gordy and Steve Williams, are the PWF World Tag Team Champions. And then, of course, it would take too long to run through every single storyline, every single result and stuff like that. But that's basically what I was doing a little bit of that earlier today, setting up for the April 2021 Reign of Pain pay-per-view. I already have set up for that. Ric Flair defending the PWF World Heavyweight title against the immortal Hulk Hogan. As Hogan's the only main eventer who is, in the main event rankings anyways. It's the only main eventer who's still undefeated. In a 6-man tag, you have Stone Cold Steve Austin and the Miracle Violence Connection, comprised of Terry Bam Bam Gordy and Dr. Death Steve Williams. Of course, the Miracle Violence is still the tag team champions. They're in a 6-man tag against the Rhodes family, Dusty, and then Cody and Dustin, who I have teaming as not as the Rhodes brothers, but as the Naturals.
Right.
And then I have the finals for the first PWF Intercontinental Champion, our secondary title, basically. The finals for the PWF Intercontinental title will be on the pay-per-view, as well as just signed in this latest edition of basically week 14 of the the promotion, or 15 technically if you count the Christmas Clash pay-per-view. We got in another return tag grudge match, the Body Donnas, who I have as faces. The Body Donnas, Skip and Zip, aka the late Chris Candido and Tom Pritchard, with their manager Sonny, aka Tammy Sitch, going up against the Brainbusters, Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard, with their manager James J. Dillon. And I do have the Horsemen, but I don't have the 4 Horsemen yet. But the Horsemen are a unit, with Arn, Tully, and Rick. And whenever they get around to introducing Barry Windham, I'll probably add him and make them the 4 Horsemen. So
I haven't watched wrestling in so long.
I haven't really watched it. I haven't really watched too much. I mean, I was watching the older stuff a while back, but I haven't been watching. I just, I basically have taken a lot of the characters I grew up with, and maybe even some into the 2000s, and basically booked my own promotion, basically. Yeah. Including syndicated shows. Syndicated shows are the shows where the stars would take on the enhancement talent, also known as jobbers. And so basically I have like 5 pro wrestling TV programs that I'm booking along with the pay-per-views. So my 4 main syndicated ones are PWF All-Star Wrestling, PWF Worldwide, PWF Championship Wrestling, and PWF Pro. And then we have a 5th one, PWF Main Event. And in that one, that's where stars take on each other. That's right now where like the Intercontinental title tournament matches are taking place. And then I have one extra one with TV time remaining with singles matches between tag team wrestlers.
I like those wrestling things that they're doing on Twitter right now. 6 a.m. Comics is pulling off. He's taking a lot of the crowdfunders and the CG folk and turning them into wrestlers, because they got all the tweaks that you can do body styles, and he makes it look like them and then pits them against each other. I think it's a fun thing to do there.
Yeah, there was a lot of good work on that.
Yeah, develop a move set and a finisher and all that, strategies and all that. So
here's what I learned how to do today. if you go to Pandora and you find an artist that you don't want to hear, you thumb down that a song they did, and then you thumb down another song they did, and that's two, and that will cause them to not ever be played on your Pandora station.
Oh,
Yeah, which, I didn't ever want to look that up until I thought about Willie Nelson and Bruce Springsteen and Barbra Streisand and Queen and Paul McCartney and the Rolling Stones and Dave Grohl and Johnny Mitchell,
all the liberals,
and
the
Neil
liberals
Young,
don't want to listen to anymore.
all the ones that want to shut down Spotify to chill free speech by pulling their music off. And what they're doing really is it looks like they're using their speech. They're not. They're using our dollars.
yep.
Because they're shutting down Spotify by proxy, just because Spotify wants to keep playing Joe Rogan. So they want to shut down Joe Rogan.
Oh yeah, I remember how that whole thing started too. It was with Neil Young. He was basically the one who threw up that ultimatum in their face.
And they took it.
Either him or me.
Yeah, so they said, okay, that works for us.
Neil Young's become the Stephen King of like rock and roll, I think.
Yeah, well.
And before we continue on, let us quickly say hi to Nicholas Gear and Miss Raina who are popped in. They said hi. I know we kind of got right into our conversation there and didn't really. So let's take a moment to acknowledge them.
I was trying to, but there was wrestling stuff going on, so I didn't interrupt it. I'm like, okay, well, we'll figure out where this is going. But yeah, all of those people now have pulled their thing from Spotify, and the best thing I can think to do is, okay, pull my money from them, so that they don't play on my Pandora. I'll make sure that I thumb down all their music. So I'm not giving them any of my money.
Yeah,
it's a two-way. It's as Jimmy Palmiotti pointed out. It's all free speech. It's only an infringement upon free speech when the government gets involved. So people acting like
what's kind of funny for me too. I'd say over the last year and a half, 2 years, basically. Actually, it'd be more like a year to year and a half at this point. I actually stopped listening to regular radio. I do have a radio here in my room, but I don't really listen to that as much anymore. I still keep it in case I do want to start listening to it again. But what I've been doing is I've been leaving my computer on all night because I found an online anime radio station that I listen to. And I listen to like a lot of classic anime intros and all that. So like stuff from like K-On! and Lucky Star and like Serial Experience, some of the I don't know if you guys have ever if you guys have watched anime before, but a lot of anime have a lot of cool openings and endings and to where they're even in Japan they're radio hits.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's some driving 30 beats a second sound that they put out there. It's pretty techno almost in a way.
Well, not all of it's techno. Some of it's punk. Some of
oh yeah.
And I'm talking about the songs you hear for anime openings. A lot of them, so, depending upon the show and stuff like that, they're pretty cool songs. So.
Yeah. George, what have you brought today?
Nothing.
Nothing. We were going to look at some covers, but we didn't know if we had enough time to go through something.
There's no way. We don't have enough time. Mike talks too much, and we'll probably never get through the first 20 pages.
Okay.
There's that smarmy humor again.
Well, it's what's the thing that good humor always has a kernel of truth in it, So, but
well, yeah, I know I talk too much, but
we love Mike's opinion.
I don't need darts being thrown at me just because I do talk too much. It's like I also have a lot of information that I'm processing. George, I have a feeling that if you had to be in my head for a day, you'd end up in an asylum.
That's not possible. I'm already there.
Yeah,
I'm married. I'm married with kids.
That'll do it. There'll be enough noise in your head there that
all the things she said running through my head.
Oh, we're gonna do some tattoo. No.
Running through my head.
I just blocked one watching box.
Victoria's old song from the WWE. Victoria, one of the divas from back in the
Oh yeah,
early 2000s.
I remember Tattoo when they first came out because it was a novelty group. Because they were two girls who kissed each other from Russia.
And
There was always this question,
and they liked it.
And they liked it. And they did concerts in their underpants. So, and it was always a question: is like, are they really, or is it just a show? And I'm like, they're still really doing it. So I'm going to go with if they weren't, they learned to like it.
Yeah. Well, one other thing I guess I can. So RJ, you want to tell these guys about Sheena?
I don't know enough about her. Here's what I know about Sheena. They took a picture of the actress on the back of an animal that she was riding, and I swear to God there was a nip slip, and I was 14, and that was all I needed. I just ripped that page out.
That's not exactly where I was going with it.
I know.
I was referring to what I read on Friday and see if you wanted to share. Even though
are you talking about the Roberts chick?
No, yeah. I'm talking about the comic from Fiction House #2. Went on sale September 1938. Cover date October 1938. That I actually read this past Friday. That RJ was there to listen to portion of. I wanted to see if you wanted to share his views on what we read to you guys.
Okay, so you're not talking about the porn actress.
Oh no.
Okay. And you're not talking about the OnlyFans account.
No.
Okay,
I'm talking about Sheena the Jungle Girl, the comic book.
Okay, you're not talking about the Penthouse Comics version.
No.
Okay.
I'm talking about
just trying to make sure
the version that was in Fiction House. That was in Jumbo Comics #2. Fiction House is the publisher. That's what I'm talking about, George.
All right, just making sure. Just wanted to cover all the bases.
Yep. That was Tanya Roberts, by the way. But I like the Jungle Girl comics more than I like the Jungle Lord comics for some reason.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of funny because when I was reading the notes on it too, they're talking about the color cover and the black and white interior. But it was still a pretty good read there. We got into the second part of the origin of Sheena in that reading where they talked about it's kind of funny. She has a very similar story to Tarzan in that she came with her father, as part of a scientific expedition and ended up staying with the tribe, just like Tarzan ended up staying with the apes, after his parents were killed. So
I just looked up the Tanya Roberts Sheena nip slip, and that's all I put in Google. I did not find that picture, but I found stuff that would get us shut down in a heartbeat, and it came up quick. I'm like, whoa, damn. Tanya did some stuff. She made some movies.
She tried for a career, didn't she?
She tried for a career and then found her niche.
So Tanya was more of a porn actress as opposed to a regular actress.
Apparently.
Yeah. All right. Also, what we looked at Gilda Gay, the modern girl, and the part of the reason I like that feature because it makes you kind of wonder. In 1938, what was their impression of what a modern girl was? I have a feeling if you guys did ever come by and
wait a minute. What year? What year?
This is back in 1938.
1938? Oh, that's easy. The modern girl was showing ankles.
Yes. Yep. It's funny. I was listening to old time radio today, and one of the shows I like to listen to is Candy Matson. She's a female private eye, and they ran her last episode, and it was like this is your last case. Why is it your last case? Because I'm going to marry you. And she's like, oh yes, well my biggest case will be being your wife. I'm like, yes, only in the 1950s would somebody who staked everything on having their own career throw it all away just because you got married.
Well, I think you guys would really like the Gilda Gay feature because it was pretty funny. It's like this girl Gilda who kind of it's just a bit smarmy yourself, when it comes to guys and stuff when they're at, it's but like one of the Gilda gags that was featured in there was what women need at different ages. It's like 20 to 40 looks, 40 to 60 personality, 60 plus money, cash.
Yep.
That was, and I know Batco was like laughing at it. I mean, I'd probably have to have it with me and read it for it to be funnier than me just reliving it. But it's a pretty entertaining feature. I think if I just get more of you guys to come out and check it out, you might find it entertaining. And then of course the other one we read was, I think the main feature is called Weird Stories of the Supernatural. The story itself was called The Diary of Dr. Haywood. Now another interesting little thing about at least two of these three stories. The Diary of Dr. Haywood was written by Kurt Davis. Kurt Davis, can you guys guess what Kurt Davis is a pseudonym for?
Not Jack Davis.
Jack Kirby.
Oh, wow.
Kurt Davis is so that's one of his stories. And then Sheena was written by W. Morgan Thomas, a pseudonym for another famous author. Can you guys guess who that is?
Not a clue.
I'll give you a big hint here. There's an award named after him.
Oh, Will Eisner?
Uh-huh. Now, according to the research I've done, W. Morgan Thomas is a pseudonym that Will Eisner used, and then Kurt Davis is a pseudonym that Jack Kirby used.
That's because they were all ashamed to work in comics.
Yeah, there was a time when this wasn't considered the greatest medium. Actually, it might not be the greatest medium now, but I still love it.
Well, I think you have to remember, even in 1938, it still hadn't fully taken off yet.
Right.
39 would be the year that I would say things really took off, because in 39, and I'll be starting that in probably in May. I'll be getting into 39 and starting in May as we finish out 38 here. But you had like Timely Comics come into existence at that point. You had, of course, the eponymous titles Superman and Batman. Actually, no, Batman was 1940. Superman came in, was established. You had a number of comics from DC, including Superman, All American Comics, I believe was in 39. They had a couple of trial, what I call super anthologies, with the World's Fair's comic. You had the World's Fair Comics 1939. That was, in a way, that in conjunction with Adventure Comics number 40, were the debut, were those issues were the debuts of Sandman, Wesley Dodds. Adventure Comics number 40 was his first published appearance, but World's Comics 1939, or World's Fair Comics. Those were the comics that were actually sold at the New York World's Fair. That was technically his first chronological appearance.
Yeah, Wesley Dodds was playing a big part in the discussion we had earlier this week over on the Matriarchy Show, when we dug into, and I don't have my, I'm not going to, here it is right here. We dug into Kingdom Come. And, for anybody who's read that, the whole framework story of it is old man Wesley Dodds going crazy and predicting the end of the world. And of course, he's right. But he dies early in the book in an old folks home. Roy, welcome. Glad to see you here, sir.
Yeah, I do know that I guess post-crisis they gave Wesley Dodds prophetic powers, the ability, but initially he did not have, he was just another costume. He was a more pulp type hero where he just wore a gas mask and would fire gas guns.
He was the Green Hornet, is what he was. The Sandman and Sandy the Golden Boy were the Green Hornet and Kato, because that's all the Green Hornet did was put on a mask and fire a gas gun.
Well, I don't know that. I think the comparisons are actually drawn more with the Crimson Avenger and Wing than Sandman and Sandman and Sandy.
Yeah,
I
but I
think
think they
that,
both. I don't know when the Green Hornet first was done in radio. Maybe it was the other way around. Because these were 1938 characters, so maybe the Sandman did come out before the Green Hornet.
and we got Tank Ferret in the house as well. There, RJ.
Hey there, Tank. Yes, thank you for smashing the like button. It won't break. Hit it hard, people. Uh, so, Chris, you would talk about comics being the one of the greatest mediums for you. You're working on a new book. How do you fit that into your schedule of the 2 books you're already doing? Chris walked away.
Well, he's muted right now too.
Yeah, he's muted himself. He's got dogs barking or something.
Oh, I'm
Now
sorry,
you
brother.
guys know I know that.
No, I was just saying, Cluster Fudge 2 or 3 is actually on the back burner, not canceled or anything. It's just not my main focus right now. So I'm rotating between Cyclopean 4 and Trolls Exposed. And it's basically just, I'll do a page or 2 and then I'll flip over to the other book and do some work on that. And I'm just using them, running them off each other so I don't get, burnout on any particular title.
Yeah. I saw an interesting approach. Somebody mentioned today who's a creator. They were like, they don't like to end the day. They don't like to end the panel or a page. It's like, okay, here's a good stopping point. When something's completed, they like to get it completed and then start on something else and leave that unfinished and come back to it.
Right.
Because they said they have an inertia. When they sit down and say, okay, this is already going, let's just jump right back into it, rather than having slept, sit down, come to a blank page and like, what do I do now?
Yep. Going back and forth like that, I get a very similar experience, to where it's like, because the process of my books, actually, I think I've sent you a couple of things before. When I do my thing, it goes all the way from pencils to full color, like depending on the panel, even if I go off on something, I might finish a whole panel and the rest of the things in the book are all sketches for a while. And Diana has to deal with that till I finish it. But I can relate to that. It is awesome to come back and kind of have some momentum that you're walking into instead of just a blank page. Although sometimes that's what you got to do.
Yeah, it's going to be blank at some point.
Yes, it is.
George, you've had your book finished for a while now, so it's been a while since you've had to come back to a panel, I think.
I'm taking the time right now, because of all the logistics going on, to just go back and do some extra polish.
Well, we your backgrounds, by the way, that you show me are fantastic. I know how you're doing them too now, but I was going to talk more about that, but I decided, nobody cares.
Yeah, they're all amateurs. What can I tell you?
Yeah, I know. It's a process that you picked up that's going to get used a lot more, I think, once people start doing it for themselves.
Hey, Robert, how you doing, man?
Yeah, Robert's here. Hail to you, sir. So it's been a pretty quiet week, though, for comics and stuff. I mean, I've talked with more retailers. We're reaching out to get some more retailers on our LCS guys show. Talked with the local guy here, and I was asking him, okay, so how are the book sales going? And from what I'm hearing from him is the Marvel stuff is coming up. Marvel sort of stepped up their game. They're doing, Spider-Man book every week now with a Spider-Man movie out. So it was like, hey, somebody got smart and actually started selling a comic that they have a movie out for.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, it would be a great idea, wouldn't it, if you're a comic book company with a movie? And then DC, he said, is just pretty much tanking it. He said it's the Superman Son of Kal-El is sinking like a stone sales-wise. He said it's not even a good story. And he's like, I tell my customers, what's a good story and what's not because they trust me. And he's like, I'm not trying to tank on it because of any other reason other than the fact that the story is just not good.
I think the idea of just shoving it in your face of two guys kissing, I think I think that's not going to sell for over half
I,
of your customers.
I don't see it going past issue 12. I think it's going to make a 12.
Wait a minute. Hold on a
Yeah.
sec.
What?
What's wrong with two guys kissing? Isn't a
Nothing
majority?
wrong.
Wait a minute. I'm just talking.
There's
numbers
nothing
here.
wrong with it.
Okay.
Just I
No,
don't think
hold on.
you want to
Don't
see it in
interrupt.
the
Hold
comic book.
on.
That's what I was
All
saying.
right, hold on.
Stop.
All right.
You.
Based on everything that they have been pushing in the media, wouldn't it be more than half of the population in North America is kind of gay for each other?
Of course. Once you change the definition to where it applies to everybody, then it applies to everybody.
So if we're looking at the statistics being, more half or more than half are gay, so to speak. So wouldn't those guys and girls be interested in this comic book?
The only problem with your logic there, George, is that the numbers don't support that. Because
the sales certainly aren't supporting it.
Yeah, the sales do not. The sales numbers do not support your theory there.
But they wouldn't make comics for people who don't buy them, would they?
Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Chris. You're ahead of me. They wouldn't dare make comics for people who wouldn't buy them, or for a small statistical number. In reality,
you know what would save Superman, Son of Kal-El? I'll tell you what would do it. DC, if you're listening, take this.
Intervention.
Well, get rid of the artist. Keep the story. Get rid of the artist. Hire a mangaka yaoi artist. Because if you're going to do a yaoi story, tell it in a way that yaoi readers want to see it.
Right.
The only thing is, most yaoi readers are actually girls, not guys.
Doesn't matter. They have green money.
Yeah.
So, if you change the art, market it to the crowd you're really trying to sell it to so that they know it's there, and make it look like something they want to look at, they'll buy it. Superman yaoi. Perfect.
I have no idea what you said, but sure.
You don't know what yaoi is, George?
I've never heard of that word before.
Yeah, okay. Yaoi is Japanese for boy porn, basically.
Oh,
okay. Well, you just lost me there.
Yaoi is what they call boys' love. Okay. Yuri is girls' love, and hentai is Japanese.
Crazy love.
Yeah. All right. You thoroughly lost.
You just got educated.
I am done.
This is a Yuri book. We just had Nina on earlier this week, and that's why she says it has the GL at the bottom here, because that's the code for the girl love kind of books. So
now that was the girl that I saw this week that I was like really impressed with, right?
Yeah, from Italy.
Yes, yes.
And she's, and Miss Rena's got it right. Yaoi is boys love Japanese comic books. It's not porn that, well, I guess it could be, but for the most part, it's not. It's,
Well, that's why I used all three terms there. I used yaoi, yuri, and hentai just to differentiate between the three. Yaoi,
I thought you were saying the Hebrew name for God.
Is girls love, and hentai is Japanese porn.
Yeah, we don't have any Yahweh comics. That would
Yeah, I was like Yahweh in Japan, Yahweh. Okay, no, now I know. I'm educated too, George.
Yeah, that's the way.
This is the way.
I'm feeling older every minute.
The world's a big place, guys, and it's got a lot of places you never want to go. And the internet's brought them all to your door and opened the door and threw them in.
It could be worse.
Yeah, but I think it would sell. Just draw it in yaoi style. Go with it. I think I'll let DC know directly that this is the solution to their sales problem. Not that we know that DC has a sales problem, because they go through Lunar now, which doesn't report any numbers. So all we have is DC saying.
Miss Reina has an interesting comment there.
There's a subgenre of yaoi that is more towards the porn section. Well, yeah, I mean, what is it? Rule 34. Everything's going to have its porn section. So the yaoi is the topic, and how far it goes is a scale of pornish and non-pornishness. How did we get talking about? Oh, we started talking about Superman. Okay.
Superman Son of Kal-El. The point I
Yeah.
was making that the sales numbers are showing that not a lot of your fan base is really wanting to pay money to watch two guys kiss.
Yeah. So no sales. Kill the artist. Don't kill the artist. Get him off the series. Is what I mean. I don't mean
Careful,
literally.
RJ. Careful.
I don't mean literally kill the
I
artist.
know. I know. We mean
contract.
figuratively, but knowing YouTube, you know.
The world is a literal place. Get rid of the artist. Get a manga feel to it. Market it correctly. You'll sell like you'll sell 89 million of those things because that's how much manga sells.
It's kind of crazy.
It is.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
insane.
So what we're talking about is to associate the Superman brand with gay stuff.
Well, they already have done that by with the Superman Son of Kal-El book. I'm just saying if you're going to do it, make it look like it.
Right. If you're going to do it right.
Yeah, do it right. And then looking like a manga, everybody who looked at it would see it more as this isn't really part of the real DC universe anymore. It still will be, but it'd be a good way to divorce it. Instead of LGBTQA2S, just rename to non-S. It'd be fewer characters. I'm still waiting for like ungendered to become a thing. And the only reason I really want that is because it would put a U in that string of letters, and then we can rearrange it to say quilt bag. And that'd be a lot easier to say. Wouldn't have to spell it all out. There's nothing demeaning in that. It's just using the letters there and making an acronym. So, these are things I think of. So what else is going on, guys? We got
working.
You're drawing, Chris?
Oh yeah, I haven't been able to stop because like you said, there's too many books I'm working on. So
yeah,
that's not a complaint.
Yeah, that does remind me of something I wanted to ask you, Chris. I've seen your promo videos for Trolls Exposed.
Yes.
Yes.
At least from what this is just from what I see, but I'm not sure. One of your trolls kind of looks like a purple version of Savage Garden or Savage Dragon. Aren't you worried a little bit that might get you a little legal trouble?
No, not at all.
You know which one I'm talking about, right?
No clue. But if it does, it does. I mean, like I make such a small imprint on comics that if someone thinks there's a problem, they can contact me. I'll fix it. It's like not that big of a deal. Which one are you talking about, though?
Okay, so I guess it's one. Okay, you have one of the trolls is a purple one up towards it's you've got like I think 4 or 5 trolls together in one shot. You have like in the back upper left corner, you have a triangle head one.
Yep.
Or triangle circular one. Cylinder head or whatever, but
right.
But more up towards the front, there's a purple guy with like a spiky kind of haircut that looks a little bit like Savage Dragon, just colored differently.
Hang on, let me pull him up. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. I don't know who any of those other trolls were inspired by, but
do you mean the guy in the middle that's got like the mohawk?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not worried about that one, but I mean, if he wants to talk to me, that's Larson, right? Savage Dragon.
Yeah.
He's purple. So
is he? I thought he was green. Is Savage Dragon purple?
No, your character is purple.
Oh, all right. I'm like, yeah.
Your character is purple. His character's green.
Yeah. No, like if intellectually I was ripping off something, there might be an issue, but it's hard, man. And I don't worry about that stuff. I figure if seriously, if like ever I trample somebody, I sure hope they let me know, and then I'm quick to make adjustments. It's not. There's very few characters I'm so passionate about that I'm like, no, I cannot change him. We'll meet in court. No,
and I don't know if I don't know if I mentioned this a couple weeks ago or if you guys had heard about this, but Image Comics or Savage Dragon in particular decided to take a shot at unvaccinated people in their pages as well.
Oh yeah,
I saw that. Yeah,
that was. Yeah. Speaking of stupid, did you guys hear about the Mark Brooks situation?
There.
I'm not sure. Is it going?
There's nothing new on it from what I already
then-
told you, RJ. It's basically, I was just seeing if anybody else had heard. He basically went off on an artist, basically telling him that this artist Don Edwards had declared himself Comicsgate the other day, and you know, and it's kind of funny because even as you were talking about, he said, "Oh, well, I don't want to be your support system or your." You know, it's like he says he doesn't, but he does.
Yeah, he very much does. He very much wants to, buddy up to this guy and save him from the dark side.
Which is kind of stupid, but
I don't know. Mark Brooks blocked me, and it was the best thing he ever did to me. So,
hallelujah.
So thank you, Mark Brooks, for blocking me. I did return the favor. So we're both mutually blocked now, and my life has been blissfully Brooksless. Can I say that?
And
Brooksless? That's kind of hard to get out of the mouth.
And let us all say hello to
Phantasmagorical is here.
Phantasmagorical. Hello, Phantasm. She came in.
I've been collecting patches ever since some of them started showing up in my Comicsgate campaigns. So I'm like, well, now I can't just walk around with like 2 patches on a jacket. It just looks weird. So now I'm getting like these things in the mail. And I was going to have them sewn on this past weekend, but my patch sewing shop, they're gone until March. So by March,
Phantasmagorical gave us all hearts, I guess. 3 hearts.
Thank you. That's so sweet of you. Appreciate it. We're only going to be here for like another 15 minutes because then I've got to jump out and jump over. We're going to Pop's CromCon. In fact, I should probably put a link over here for folks. We want to make sure that everybody gets a chance to go over and watch the biggest comic book show of the month every month. At the end of the month, Pops is a promoting machine most of the time. Find out where that link is at. I really need to call my YouTube because it's to the point now I'm like all these subscriptions are on the side here. I'm like, I never see any of your shows. I'm never reminded of any of your shows.
Well, I'm usually reminding you all the time of mine.
Well, yeah. Hell, you call me up. You say, "Hey, I'm going on." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I know." I get the buzzes on yours because I said, to the sister said, "You buzz me every time this happens. Do it. So my phone goes off when your show comes on. But I didn't do that for everybody's. And yep, there it was. So I'm going to grab the link. I don't want to play it. I don't want to snipe him. Crom. Let's spell it right. There. Now it's in the chat. So everybody, when we're done here, it's kind of been subdued tonight because we had a short amount of time. We usually get into some longer discussions. We start going through old comic book covers.
That's what we've been doing the last couple of weeks, anyways.
Yeah, but I think there's enough comic book covers out there. We can milk that cow all the way into 2025.
Yeah, that's
ride that monkey into the dirt.
Yeah. Yeah, we can do the covers on Sunday, and then if you guys can come catch my show on Fridays, you can get a little bit more in depth on the stories and the art itself.
Get behind the covers. Get under the covers. Oh wait. Never mind. Forget I said anything. Yeah. It's we're talking. Yes. We won't go quite that far. Yes, Pops is live already. Pops has been live since Friday night. It's just a constant cycle with him. So yeah, we're going to be Critical Blast will be the final segment over at CromCon. We're going to be talking fulfillment and such. And I'm literally boxed in here like Fortunato in the cask of Amontillado. I have got here. Yeah, this is what's on eBay right now, by the way. So trying to see if that Deathstroke's going to sell. I have got a ton of stuff from David Feed. for his Red Eyes campaign. So I've got Red Eyes #1 ready to go. I have the Sexy Monster Girl Bestiary print. I have the second Red Eyes print. And I have the bigger Red Eyes print, for which I'm going to have to buy a folding machine to get a nice crisp scoring on this thing and fold it up.
Very nice.
And that's only half of it. I can't. The reason it's still sitting in boxes is because I'm still waiting for Red Eyes #2, basic cover, Red Eyes #2, the Odie cover, the actual bestiary book, and I think there's a fourth. I know there's 4 things. So by the time it's all here, and that's not even counting, there's another box here of original artwork that he did for different backers. So I've got to sort through those and put them in the right boxes. It's going to be fun. People are going to be getting some nice stuff, nice books, and some fantastic artwork. So it's
RJ, how long do you think you'll be on CromCon?
Until it's over.
All right.
Until it's over, and then I'm going to crash. Because it's been
I might pop in for at least for a little while first while I'm eating some dinner here, so I might.
Yeah, come on over.
I'll watch.
Yeah. Always, Pops keeps it lively, and I need some enlivening. I need some energy in my system today. I don't know. They maybe they took too much blood out or didn't put enough back in. Maybe I shouldn't have drunk a beer after it, but you know. But that's just it's what I do.
Isn't beer a great way to bring back your count or something? Doesn't that help? Or is that orange juice? I don't remember.
I had an orange juice too, but you know what? I compromised, and this is a Bud Light orange. So you know I'm getting the best of both worlds here now. It's got a nice flavor to it. It's kind of like a Leinenkugel Summer Shandy, which they only sell in summer. So I'm actually able to get these in the wintertime. What is your failure? Ooh, what is this? What is your failure replacement rate for campaign mailings? One. And the failure on that had nothing to do with packaging or late mailing or anything. Because I'll tell you, right now, David's not late because of anything he's doing. Printer is literally sitting on his stuff and saying, we can't print it yet. So when that's done, it'll come here. But of all the things I've mailed for all the campaigns I've done, I've only had one item come back. And it was because the post office baptized the package in motor oil. And I'll tell you what, the books were fine. I only had to replace the prints that were in a cardboard box. The prints were in a Mylar bag. The books were in a Mylar bag around the Gemini mailer. So they were hermetically sealed against any liquid. So that was a choice of the client at the time to have the bags. I had the printed bags. You can see some of them hanging in the corner there. And when that happened, I said, you know what? Nobody has a choice anymore. Your choice is printed or blank. The blank bags are cheap. They're 27 cents a piece. I just added into the packaging cost. It's part of what we're going to do, but it protects your books. They will not get rained on. You know, you leave a Gemini mailer on a doorstep and it gets a downpour. Yeah, you're going to get soaked. Not if it's in one of these. It will be just fine. So, yeah.
So Chris,
what about alien acid?
Is there a cylinder-based troll or something like that?
A conical head?
Yeah.
A cylinder-based?
Well, it's because one of your characters is that golden character who's got like a cylinder shape for a head.
Yes, he's good. Well, I can't say too much about him, but he's metaphoric for something, a stereotypical internet troll. A lot of this is based on stereotypes and stuff, and just kind of playing them out in scenarios. So
I do remember you have another character who has a triangle on his chest.
Yeah, he's not the same one. I actually, to be honest, I've had a love of triangle heads since I was a kid. I've always liked these characters with triangle heads. I love the cone heads. I was always drawn to the pointed
That's
head.
what I was thinking.
But bear witness, Chris. State on oath. Give evidence.
Right. I always have loved them. So Yeah, so the yellow cone head thing, I can't wait to get that story out. But yeah, I'm trying to be
Now this is an
cool
anthology,
because we're
right?
still in sign up. I'm not even ready to do the campaign yet. But when I am, I'll be sharing all sorts of little previews and tips and fun. And
Yeah. Now is this going to be a one shot, or are you going to keep doing this?
I'm gonna do a one shot unless it sells very well. Because Diana's involved. There's a couple of other creative types getting involved. If it's successful and they want to do it again, by all means, I'll do it again. But
Do what sells, yeah.
right. But I'm more than happy to do it one time. It started with one story, and it's turned into a lot of fun. Diana did a ton of research, and we sat there just poring over Norse mythology and old wives' tales, and I'm excited. Trolls are freaking amazing if you know the real story about them and how they're looked at today, like in Disney with Frozen, they have their cute little trolls.
Yeah.
I'm like, they would have eaten that man. Literally.
My experience with trolls has been, when I was a kid, was you stuck a pencil up their butt and then you went like this and their hair went.
Yes. That was the redefining so they could have another classic kind of tie into ancient lore, elves, trolls, dwarves. They didn't really care as long as it had a cool name and they could say, yes, it was from the old land. It's from the sacred motherland.
What were they? Norphin trolls.
Yeah. Well, I've got them involved because I'm doing so many metaphoric things with internet trolls. So not all my trolls look like trolls, but you'll know they're trolls when you see them.
Oh yeah, because they're cybernetic. They'll take on any different kinds of shapes.
Yeah, well, we're actually doing some classical stuff like the old bridge trolls type story, but then there's like internet crossovers that you can do. That it's amazing how much internet trolls have in common with true historical trolls. Like how cruel and sadistic they can be, and how. You'll see. There's a lot of stuff that's in common.
And it was a troll that went after the three billy goats gruff, if I recall.
Oh yeah, I think it might have been.
He said, "Yeah, you don't want me. You want my big brother."
Oh, how cowardly people can be when it comes down to it. Yeah.
Yes. Well, you know what? It was 7:54. It's close enough to the top of the hour here that I'm going to say we should call it a wrap, and that'll give me some time to.
You got the link in the chat, right?
Put the link in the chat, folks. Jump on over to CromCon, say hi to Pops, tell him I'm on my way. Just got to comb my hair and brush the crumbs out of my beard. We'll be there.
I'll probably head over there for a few minutes while I'm eating dinner. I actually have some stuff I got to do, including getting caught up on my YouTube watching and getting my own stuff set up for the week. So
you got a lot of stuff set up for the week, man. Yeah, you got a full week ahead of you. We've got a full week ahead this time too. Last week was sort of a dry well, except for a couple of spots. But Monday we've got the whole team on from Hocus Hocus, who are just launching number 3. Wednesday we're gonna have Mark Weiss come on from Comics for Kids, building up to the 2/22/22 event, where we're going to have try to get some more comic books into children's hospitals, and also Comics for Troops. It's a sister organization. Thursday we'll have Pat Murphy on. Friday no show. Fridays probably may have noticed. I don't care if you pay that much attention really, but Fridays have been pretty much no shows ever scheduled on Friday anymore. I have too many things to do on Friday that get me back too late, and I don't want to rush trying to get back and end up starting a show late. So I'm like, you know what? Day off. So we'll be back Saturday and Sunday, of course, after that. So, guys, thanks for showing up.
All right.
And we will see you on the next open mic, which will be longer. We'll dig into those Batman covers that we wanted to get into tonight. Right, George?
Yeah. It sounds legit.
All
Have
right.
a good night, man.
You too, guys. Everybody in the chat,
Right.
Thanks for showing up. And we will see you next week.
All right. Talk to you later.